Welcome back, everyone. This week we're going to be sharing something that's a little bit difficult for us because it's actually a really personal and important thing for both of us.
Yeah, it's definitely our most vulnerable video that we've filmed, and we've talked a little bit about it here and there in terms of our journey to have a family, and we are well into that process, and we just kind of wanted to give an update and be very real and raw with everything we've gone through the last couple of months.
First, we should explain a little bit of what we did before we left the U.S. As you all know, I had leukemia when I was younger, and that makes it really hard for a lot of fertility things, especially with the amount of chemotherapy and bone marrow transplant that I had. So we had to do quite a bit of testing before we left the U.S., and we did some enhanced genetic testing to make sure everything was good. And it turns out that we're both not carriers for the same things, so we should be good on that front.
Yeah, fertility care in the U.S. is very different than here in the Netherlands, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But genetic testing isn't really something that's required here. But for our fertility center that we were using in Houston, they do recommend that, and that is typically not covered by your insurance, so it's an additional cost.
Which we did pay because it was important to us to make sure that we were going to be able to have somebody who didn't have problems for their whole life because of genetic disorders. And then for me, all my accounts and everything, to be able to get them recovered and into a good space, I went to a specialist at Baylor College of Medicine, and they were able to do some really great stuff there and be able to get us into a state that we could move forward. I had to do shots 3 times a week for a few weeks there, a couple months there actually, and things recovered pretty nicely. They were pretty astounded. That was the first time they've ever seen somebody that was a leukemia survivor, that was a male, be able to reproduce those types of things.
Then obviously, Travis was interviewing for jobs over here, and we were very, very close to beginning the in vitro fertilization process over in the U.S., and unfortunately we had to stop because of the move. And at that point, we had just gotten the bills for what the medications were going to be for the shots, and we were looking at about $6,000 to $8,000 USD for just the shots for 1 round, and that was with insurance.
Yeah.
So we decided to pause and focus on our move over here, and then pretty much give it to the end of last year for us to get settled here before we really dove into anything.
Yeah, we moved here in late August. We would have started the IVF procedure in the U.S. in September, so we were right at that cusp where it didn't make sense for it. We had actually even talked about flying you back home to do it, and honestly, we knew with the healthcare over here, it would probably be more effective for us to do it here, even if that meant waiting a little bit. With that, we got settled in, and we started seeing a doctor, fertility doctor, in the early part of the year. And they were able to explain it to us that essentially we were going to have to get put onto a waiting list, and whenever there was a slot in that waiting list, then we would get added, and we'd have to do shots and all the things that we were going to do in the U.S., and then ultimately get put on to get the whole process started.
So we have been filming over the last couple months our process here in the Netherlands. So please feel free to enjoy, the last couple months of our life.
Today's a big day. We're headed to the doctor.
Yeah, and hopefully we're going to get all the information we need for the fertility treatments. Hopefully we get some good news on when we are able to start those.
Yep. So we're on the bus right now, headed to Leiden, and hopefully we can get some good ones.
How are you feeling?
A little nervous, but overall optimistic. You?
Anxious, but I'm ready. I've been ready.
I agree.
Yeah. See how this goes.
Nick? Breath in. This is day 3.
Shout out to my mother-in-law for suggesting I ice it before the needle goes in. Helps a lot. Thanks, Quincy.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Get better.
That's bad. We just finished our second appointment, day 3 of shots, was yesterday, and we got a whole lot more medicine.
Like a whole lot more medicine. So I start more shots tonight.
And
I go back in a week.
Exciting.
Day 5.
Is this getting easier?
A little bit. The new medication that I'm on has really messed with my hormone levels, and I had an excruciating headache until about 2 o'clock this afternoon from last night. So that was not fun. But
literally hormones, this one. So.
oh yeah, for sure. So here goes nothing. Day 5.
Yay.
Got some lovely bruises for me.
Sorry.
We did it.
3, 2, 1. There we go.
That wasn't as bad
Last one.
for today.
We are headed to the doctor again.
Yeah, we are up bright and early to go for another sonogram. I didn't sleep much last night. Got a lot of anxiety on how this appointment's gonna go today.
Yep.
So we'll see what today brings.
Basically, what they're going to be doing today is doing a sonogram to figure out how
Whether
big
the follicles are big enough to be extracted. So see if the hormones have been working.
All right, wish us luck. Today is officially day 9.
I've started to lose count.
We had a doctor's appointment this morning. It's mixed news. Nothing's bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just nothing's happening.
That's
Yeah.
right. Nothing's happening.
So we're upping our dosage a little bit. Well, you're upping your dosage. I'm taking the same amount, which is none. And we'll have to do this. You have another appointment this
On
Friday. Today's Monday.
Before we go to Antwerp.
Yep.
Fun. Yeah. So here we go.
Done. That's it. On to tomorrow. Today is Tuesday, and this is
I think we're in double digits.
yeah. It's exciting.
Yep.
The good thing is that tomorrow they're supposed to have the 225 version of the shot instead of just the 75s, which means that Tracey will only have to take 2 shots instead of 4, which I'm sure she's looking forward to.
I am.
All right, it's Wednesday,
Yeah, I
the
guess.
26th, the 25th. Yeah, it's the day before Ascension Day. Today is Thursday. They had the day off today, so that's awesome. Today is
I don't even know anymore.
it's a holiday here in the Netherlands.
Let's look here. It's 26th. Day 14.
Today's also Ascension Day.
So I'm bruised pretty badly here. The other side isn't nearly as bad, but that's what life is like right now. So
Okay. I'm gonna go right. I'm gonna go
we're
right
gonna do
there.
this off camera.
Okay. So I have to travel for work tomorrow, and
So I get to give myself shots tomorrow, but I figure I probably should practice before I'm flying solo. So we had a doctor's appointment this morning. It went okay.
it's progress. It's positive. Things are going better. Things are moving in the right direction. It's slow.
Yeah, and sorry we don't have an update for the last few days because we were in Antwerp and doing shots in a hotel room in between dinners and sightseeing, and it's a fun adventure. But hopefully we've got some little a baby or two in there. Those are some follicles.
Some possible babies, yeah.
Yeah. So all right, here goes nothing.
Yeah.
So I just looked at my little card that shows all my medication, and it's kind of hard to believe that it's day 19 of shots right now. And Travis is out of town, so I have to do it myself. So we'll see how this goes. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So hopefully we'll have some more good news, and hopefully those follicles will be growing.
I'm back from my trip. Tracy, how'd you do with those shots yesterday being solo?
I did okay. I didn't super hulk it like the other day when I tightened the top of it so much we had to use these to get it off. But did all right.
I'm back, and I can get back to shooting up my wife.
You say
Wait a
it like
minute.
that.
One down. How's that?
A little bit different spot. It can't hurt.
Okay. Tracy had a doctor's appointment today. Things are progressing well.
Slowly.
Slow, but well.
Very slowly.
That's it for today.
All right.
Until next time. Today is day 24.
Sorry we haven't filmed the last couple days. Things have been a little chaotic here.
Yeah, but we just got some good news. Some very exciting news from the doctor.
Yep, it looks like this upcoming Wednesday we'll be able to do the egg extraction. So, a little scared. I'm afraid it's going to be painful, but they give you some drugs to help ease the pain.
A little bit, not as much as they probably would in the US. But that being said, this is a big step for us, and we're really excited. This is definitely the closest we've gotten for any of this process.
Yeah.
So essentially how it'll work is we're going tomorrow to the hospital to meet with the doctor. She's going to make sure everything's good. We do a shot on,
Trigger shot
on Monday evening.
tomorrow night. Mm-hmm.
And then Wednesday morning, if everything's going to plan, we head out to Leiden and yeah.
Have the procedure done.
Then I have to take it down to another city to get it actually mixed together and created the embryos and hopefully good stuff.
Yeah. So tonight is the last night of one of the shots, the Fosterman.
Yep.
So that's cool.
Well, it might be the last of both of these shots actually if everything goes well tomorrow.
And we have the Decapeptyl tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right.
Let's
Shot
do
time.
this.
Today is Monday.
Day
25.
25.
Yep. No, yeah, 25.
Yeah, 25.
So we met with the doctor today.
Yes, it was a holiday, so there's only one gynecologist on duty, so we had to wait a little bit just to make sure things were still progressing and we were still okay for a
Wednesday.
Wednesday egg retrieval, and we are. So today we have to do my last decapeptyl shot, which is the one that talks to your pituitary gland and tells you not to ovulate, and then
An hour
later, I have to take Ovitril, which is the trigger shot, and that actually will cause me to ovulate within the next 36 hours. So,
let's do this one.
all right.
Big day.
So it is the night before egg retrieval. No shots tonight for the first time in 20 some days. And I'm feeling excited and terrified, and I'm not really sure what to expect. I think you can read all of the articles and watch all the videos, but until you go through it yourself, you don't know what's going to happen. So I'm hopeful we'll have some answers, and looking forward to getting some rest tomorrow, because I know tonight may be a sleepless night for me.
You ready?
No.
Soon. Hopefully all of this will be worth something soon.
Can't wait to sleep.
It's later in the day. Tracy is able to have her surgery. Everything went pretty smoothly as far as the actual surgery part.
It's just very, very painful.
Yeah, you may not know this, but gingers, people with red hair, experience pain and more severely than most people, and they're also less likely to be sedated by painkillers in the same way. So usually whenever Tracy or I get something done, it can be pretty painful.
Yeah, it was pretty unpleasant, but the hospital itself was pretty good. Like all the nurses and everything. It's scary when Dutch is not your native language and everyone around you is speaking Dutch, and you can understand bits and pieces of it, but you don't really know what's going on, and it makes the experience, already scary experience, that much more scary.
I will say the one word I heard a lot of was "hutso," which means good job.
Yeah. So, Travis got to take his little fancy transport case.
Yeah, I had a case that was meant to keep it at 36.5 degrees Celsius. So I carried that to another hospital, and they were able to take that there, take the eggs out of the vials. So we had 9 vials that were ultimately filled up with the fluid from Tracy.
And they were able to get absolutely everything, which is good.
They said that she did such a great job staying still, so they were able to really get in there.
I don't know how I did it. I think it was just sheer willpower of wanting to have a child.
And then,
but I cried through the whole thing.
And I was there. You were really brave.
Yeah, it was tough stuff. It's not for the faint of heart, but hopefully it'll be worth it. But we ended up finding out that we retrieved 12 eggs, which is pretty good.
Yeah, after they took the 9 vials, they looked at them, and they were able to find 12 eggs, and then they mixed that with my sample, and we're supposed to find out tomorrow how many embryos we have.
Yeah, so tonight hopefully they'll fertilize, and we should get a call tomorrow morning letting us know how many embryos we have. And then if all goes well, then we implant on Saturday.
How are you feeling after all of it?
Sore. I'm able to walk around and stuff, but it's definitely not a pleasant feeling. It just feels kind of like heavy. Like I just feel heavy. So I was told to just kind of take it easy the next couple days, and that's what we're gonna do.
All right. More updates from tomorrow.
Thank you. I'm calling from the IVF lab
Okay.
to letting you know the good news about fertilization of the eggs.
Yeah.
Yesterday, 12 eggs were found,
Okay.
and 11 of them are fertilized.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that is an almost perfect score. So we don't have that often. So yeah, that's really good.
That's great. And so
Yeah.
this Saturday we'll do the implementation?
Yeah, and Saturday at 12.
Okay.
So you both can be there. If you are 10 minutes earlier, I can show you how the development of all the embryos was or is at that point, and which embryo we will place back.
Perfect. Today is kind of a big day.
It's Embryo Transfer Day.
Yep. So after we got the good news, we had to wait a couple days. And how are you feeling about it all?
I'm panicking. I'm nervous, but hopeful. I don't know what to expect. We'll probably find out before the procedure how many embryos made it. I guess the theory is like 3 days after transfer you lose about 50% of them, but it depends on the person. So we'll see, and then basically they choose the best one and it gets implanted, and then in 2 weeks I go for a blood test to see if it worked. So I'm a little anxious, but I'm ready.
Yeah, me too. Let's do this.
And I really need to pee because you're supposed to have a full bladder to do this. So, yay!
We're back to the house. Everything was pretty straightforward, to be honest.
Yeah, the whole thing probably took 20 minutes.
Yeah, 25 minutes. It definitely pretty quick. We got there. They sat us in the waiting room, and
We met with the embryologist, and she went over the 11 embryos we had, and basically we had 3 that were not up to par. 1 was growing too fast, and 2 were growing too slow. But we still ended up with 8 on day 3, which was really good. So she said that they were able to choose from the best of the best, and they were able to implant one of the better looking ones. So the other ones will stay in the lab and grow for a few more days, and based on how those grow, they will freeze the rest. So
and the whole procedure, you said, was pretty painless.
yeah, they put 2 catheters in, and while you have the catheters in, they actually have a sonic ultrasound like on your belly. So it's quite cool to actually see the embryo go in. It's just a wild experience. Technology is just amazing. So now we just wait. I'm gonna just take it easy for a little bit. And
Yeah. Now we have to wait for 2 weeks. So we'll let you know once we know something. It's been about 2 weeks since the implantation. What do you think of the implantation?
way easier than the extraction.
With the implantation, we have to wait about 2 weeks before we get results. We've gotten some of the labs back, and HCG, which is the pregnancy hormone, is elevated. It's at 27.3, and I just Googled it, and anything above 25, is supposed to be a positive.
I'm not convinced.
The doctor's supposed to call us in about the next 10 minutes or so, and we should find out something.
Yes.
Spreek je Engels?
Yes, I speak English.
Hi.
Yes, I'm the gynecologist.
yes, of course.
I can tell you about the blood result, and that is positive.
Okay.
That's great.
It's a little bit lower than expected, but we just have to wait and see and check it in 2 days again.
Okay.
Because it's in the beginning of pregnancy, it will increase very, very fast.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I've been really tired, and kind of queasy, so I'm happy to hear that it's positive. I'm just worried that it's low.
Yeah, but it can very, the values can vary very much.
Okay.
So the best way to know is to check it in 2 days again,
Okay.
and then it should be doubled normally, but then it should be about 50 or a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to monitor it the next week.
Okay. And that brings us to today.
It's a few weeks after we filmed the last episode, and it's actually been pretty hard. 2 days.
Fertility is very much a roller coaster. And we are unfortunately on one of the down loops right now, because a few days after we got a positive test, I had to go retest my blood work to check my HCG levels, which is the pregnancy hormone.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, they were going down, which indicates a chemical pregnancy, which is prior to 5 weeks of gestation. So unfortunately, our first cycle was not viable.
That being said, the same day though, we got really good news. We found out from the lab where they freeze everything and stuff like that, that we actually have...
Which they are incredible.
Yeah. So they were able to freeze 8 of them. So we have 8 more embryos.
So right now, the process is... I had to go get more blood work done today to make sure that the hormone continues to go back down to a level of 0, which it's well on its way. And then the policy here for our clinic is that you need to take a month off of rest, and then you can start back up again. So we'll be looking at another cycle probably in about another month or so.
1 to 2 months. So we will keep you updated as we find out more and learn more. But it's rough.
It's sad. It's really sad. I tried not to get too excited because unfortunately we've had a loss before, and it doesn't get any easier. So so I'm very much looking forward to being able to jump in, and I realize how much of a grateful position that I'm trying to be in a more grateful mindset. I take part in a lot of infertility forums online, and I was seeing a woman who was exact same situation as us, and she can't afford to do a second cycle in the US because it's so expensive.
It's about $15,000 for that whole process,
not including medication. And I realized that anytime I find myself getting sad, I remind myself that we have 8 more chances for this round.
And 2 more rounds after that. So we got a lot of opportunity. We're trying to keep our head up, trying to stay positive, and we're going to get through this.
Yeah. I'm trying to remain hopeful, and we are very lucky to be here in the Netherlands to be able to do this.
So with that, we want to thank you all for joining us on this journey. I know that it definitely is taking a downturn, but we're going to get through this. Thank you for your support, and please let us know any comments, any recommendations, or anything that you have, or share your own story. And
it's very comforting to hear people who are dealing with infertility. It can feel very lonely, especially when you're in a country where we don't have our support system like we normally would have. And it's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to be thousands of miles away from our families while we do this. So sorry to be a downer. We promise we will have a much happier episode next week for you guys, but we felt it was important to update you. If you would like to follow updates along the way, make sure to follow us on Instagram at TNTGoDutch, or if you have any questions about the fertility process, our email is tntgodutch@gmail.com. We'd love to connect with you.
All right, have a great week, everyone.
Bye.